In this video, you'll learn about Nymi Band authentication. The authentication process verifies that the person who is wearing the Nymi Band is the person that was assigned to the Nymi Band during enrollment. The Nymi Band supports two methods of authentication, by fingerprint and by corporate credentials. The configuration of the Nymi Enterprise Server policy defines how a user can authenticate to their Nymi Band. The Nymi Band has two biometric sensors, a fingerprint sensor, which is a pad surrounded by a metal bezel on the face of the Nymi Band, and the ECG electrode on the underside of the Nymi Band. When a user clasps the Nymi Band to their wrist, the Nymi Band prompts the user to place their finger on the fingerprint sensor. While the finger remains on the Nymi Band compares the fingerprint characteristics to the template that was created during enrollment. If the finger matches the template and the liveness detection option is enabled, the Nymi Band proceeds to validate that the ECG signals that are detected by the ECG electrode that is touching the user's wrist and the metal bezel touching the user's finger are the same. If the finger on the sensor and the wrist on which the Nymi Band is worn are not from the same person, the Nymi Band detects an invalid ECG signal. Authentication fails. If the ECG signals match, the Nymi Band is successfully authenticated and the user can use the Nymi Band to perform authentication tasks such as e-sign-offs in Nymi-enabled applications. When liveness detection is disabled at the time of enrollment, the success of the Nymi Band authentication process only depends on a fingerprint match. When the corporate credentials authentication option is enabled in the NES policy at the time of enrollment, NES generates an ECDSA key pair. The private key remains on the NES server and NES passes the public key portion to the Nymi Band application. The Nymi Band application sends the public key portion to the Nymi Band. This process allows Nymi Band users to complete their authentication by using their corporate user credentials instead of their fingerprint. To authenticate by corporate credentials with the Nymi Band on their wrist, the user logs into the Nymi Band application with their Active Directory username and password. The user clicks Authenticate. The Nymi Band application retrieves a nonce from the Nymi Band, and then the Nymi Band application sends a request to NES to sign the nonce with a corporate credentials authentication private key. NES enforces that the user is the only person that has the privilege to request a signature by using the corporate credentials authentication private key. NES passes the signature to the Nymi Band application. The Nymi Band application then passes the signature to the Nymi Band. If the signature verification succeeds, the Nymi Band transitions into an authenticated state.